Today's show is pre-recorded.
Y'all know what time it is. Y'all don't know, y'all better ask somebody. Hat on, suit on, looking like the Dapper Dawn, giving them all dressed like $1 million bucks, diamond things in its cuffs. Y'all tell me who could it be but Steve Harvey? Yeah, listening to me. Put your hands together for Steve Harvey. Put your hands together. Why don't you join Steve Harvey got to turn them out. Got to turn them out. Harvey turn them on in the morning, y'all. Come on, Steve. Come on. Do your thing, Big Daddy.
I sure will. Good morning, everybody. You are listening to The Voice. Come on now, dig me. One and only Steve Harvey. Got what? Radio show. Man, what you doing with it? Trying to do the very, very best I can with it. I really am, you know. I get tired sometimes on my journey. I'm not going to kid you. Trying to make something out yourself is a task. If you want to attempt to do something and understand going in, if the thing you're trying to do is to improve yourself, to better your position, to better your relationship, your family, anything, you're trying to be a better you, you're trying to make more money, you're trying to get it together, you're trying to change. If any of those things are in your hopes and dreams, know this right here. You are about to face some challenges, but you might as well go ahead anyway and face those challenges, because if you don't, you have a whole nother set of challenges to face. You know, it's an amazing thing, man, how people sit around and they watch other people strike out to become successful, and they sit in the stands watching these people play out these games, and they criticize, they boo, they laugh at their efforts and everything. And they talk about the failures. He missed that game-winning shot. Boy, he sucked. Man, he did this. He ain't worth that. I hear people who sit in stands, who criticize people who are out there on the playing field. Now, when you're on the playing field, you have a set of challenges in front of you. You're going to be open to criticism. You're going to be open to ridicule. You're going to be talked about when you don't know the people who are talking about you. Now, here's the upside to being the player on the field that's facing all the challenges, the criticisms, the laughing, the joke, the being talked about. He has something going for him. This person, boy, woman, child, girl, man, has an opportunity to win. They have an opportunity to win. And in the game of life, just because you lose one of the games or you lose one of the matches, it don't mean you've lost. You don't get put out. You keep playing. And when you're playing, here's the upside. You have the opportunity to win. But guess what? You're going to win some of the matches. You're going to win some of the points. You're going to make some of the dunks. You're going to hit some of them over the wall. You're going to hit some out the park. You're going to score some goals. You will if you're playing the game. Here's the problem with the people who don't face criticism, who nobody boos or cheers for, who sits in the stands and knows neither victory nor defeat. Those people, without realizing it, are facing a set of challenges also. And the challenges they facing is how I'm going to live with myself, what I'm going to do now, what direction am I going in, where am I going to live, wonder what job will hire me, wonder if I can get paid for criticizing. Oh, woe is me. I can't find the purpose in my life. And man, I'm just waking up in a state of confusion. I don't know what to do. Now, let me ask you something. Which one of them set of challenges you'd rather be faced with? Because if I'm on the floor playing, if I'm on the field playing, if I'm out on the court playing, then guess what? I got a chance at winning. But guess what I'm doing every day while I'm playing? I'm strategizing. I'm waking up with a purpose. I'm waking up trying to come up with another angle. I'm in pursuit of a goal every single day versus the people in the stands who know neither victory nor defeat. Get in the game. Face the challenges. Better yourself, better your wife, better your children, better your condition, better your employment status, better your job, better your career. Take a shot. Come on, man. What you waiting on? Because the alternative is to watch other people play the game. You know what I just do sometimes? Sometimes I get Forbes magazine or Money magazine, or sometimes I still grab a copy of the Robb Report. I just flip through it just to see. I used to get this book called Unique Homes. Unique Homes is a magazine that just has a lot of extravagant houses that's on sale across the country, across the world. I used to just flip through, man. Let me just see, man, what the people that's playing the game out there doing. Stop watching other people become successful when you could very easily be you if you make the decision. But when you make the decision to become successful, get ready for a series of challenges. I think it's more difficult not to accept the challenge. I think it's, for me, this is just for me, it may not be the case for you. For me, I think it's far more difficult to wake up and just see how life gonna go today. Because, man, it could just deal you any kind of hand today. You understand? I don't like, spades. Let's talk a card game, for example. The game of spades, really, man, it ain't a whole lot you can do if you don't get no spades. Really? It's a couple of little strategies you got to do, but you can have all this ace, king, queen, diamond, all you want, but, man, you ain't got no spades. They cutting them. You're in trouble. Be it whist, different game. You can create what's in your hand. You got dealt a hand, too, but you can create a hand. You can call a trump. You can make diamonds your spades. You can make hearts or clubs your spades. That's what I'm saying. That's what it is. You can do something with it. It's a different game, man. You can strategize. I would rather have a say-so in my life than to wake up every day and just see how it's going. I think it's more difficult to not accept the challenge to be something than it is to accept the challenge to be something. I think it's more difficult to sit around and not be nothing. I think it's harder to watch everybody's life going somewhere but mine. I think it would be very difficult for me to sit here and hear them talking about other people and never mention my name. It would be difficult for me to see everybody rise and getting promotions except me. That would be difficult for me. It may not be for you, but for me it would be quite challenging. I would rather accept the challenge of making something out of my life than to sit there and criticize those and then watch and see how my life just may go. Okay? Just a thought today.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. It's time. It's the Steve Harvey Morning Show, where we will bring you information today, try to inform you, enlighten you. Not a lot of entertainment. I'm just gonna be honest with you, man. It's just a lot going on right now. But we're here to keep you informed and enlightened best we can. And this is the Steve Harvey Morning Show. So Shirley Strawberry.
Hey, Steve. Good morning. Wow.
Carla Farrell.
Good morning. What's up, crew? How are you all?
That there Junior.
Morning, everybody. Morning,
J. Anthony Brown.
Sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yes, sir.
Nephew Tommy.
More tired some more.
Yeah. It's exhausting. And
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
you know,
Yes, it is.
the light for me in all of this is that I'm seeing more than black people outraged.
I like that.
That's the light in all of this for me. And that's the only way that I know that this thing can get fixed, because they have to have peer pressure when they go home at night. It can't be from black people. It has to be from their neighbors, their classmates. And so I'm excited about the light that I see. I want young people out there who are protesting to be careful, stay within the bounds of the law. You're gonna have to obey these curfews. They real. You can get arrested for disobeying these curfews. If you damage property, that's a crime. I'm just letting you know. And so we've got to keep this protest. It'll work just fine the way it's working, man. It will work just fine with protests because we have enough people trying to join in with us. So be careful out there, folks. If you're going to protest, do it lawfully. Do not break the law. Obey the curfews. Be peaceful. Get your hands up. Don't throw anything. Don't give them a reason to arrest and attack you, and don't give them a way to change the narrative.
Yeah, and to throw you in jail. Steve, I got to ask you this. Is there something different, do you think or feel, about this particular protest, what's happening in the country now, when you compare it to other
of course.
protests? Yeah.
The
What's
biggest
different?
difference I see is that there are a lot of non-blacks who have joined in. That's how you get this thing to move in the right way. Now, what I'm hoping this does is, as frustrating as voting has seemed to young people, it's not making a change. This is the beginning of change, because your vote combined with a lot of other votes it's going to make a huge, huge difference here. And I think this anger that these young people are feeling, and rightfully so, and I'm in 100% of protest, but peaceful protest, I think it's going to push people to the polls that would not normally go.
Yeah.
And you can change what's happening, because the direction of this country that's coming from the White House is non-directional.
Yeah,
Right.
or backwards.
And you can change that by voting.
Yeah. All right, Steve, coming up at 32 minutes after the hour, it's been a difficult, very difficult and angry weekend. It's been all across America. We're going to talk about that right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Coming up next hour, attorney, politician, political commentator, and author Bakari Sellers will be our special guest. But first, protests erupts all around the country and the world, from Minneapolis, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Atlanta, Detroit, Philadelphia, Dallas, Washington, D.C., at the White House, yes, George Floyd's hometown of Houston, and more cities around the country. People also protested worldwide in London and Berlin and Toronto in support of our protesting here in the United States. People took to the streets to protest the outrage. We all saw it on video, the murder of George Floyd by a Minneapolis police officer while Floyd was being detained. Some of the protests were peaceful, and some with other agendas turned the marching into violence, clashes with police as they used rubber bullets and tear gas. We saw arson, we saw fires, vehicles getting destroyed, protesters and police getting injured. It was, I mean, we saw a little bit of everything on TV this weekend.
You know what's difficult? Sitting on the couch with your 8-year-old son trying to explain this. Trying to make it, it's so difficult to try to explain what this is all about. And his big question is, why? Yeah. Why? Why are they doing this?
Well,
why?
Tommy, my son Winton, who lives in the downtown Atlanta area, was out there last night amongst the protesters because he's a photography student. And he wanted to capture it on photography. And he ended up shooting a video that I posted on my Instagram, which I was very proud of his work as a student trying to capture the moment. He caught this woman talking, and Winton caught her talking and recorded it and put her and used her in the making of this video of the protest last night. And I put it on my IG page, and it's really a piece of work that I was proud of by him. And then, of course, I'm his father, so we had to have this long talk about, okay, you done that, that's enough. And he said, Dad, but I had to do my part. And what can I tell him? I mean, I got to let him, speak out. He's seeing stuff at 22.
Right.
And I've seen a lot more of it than he has. And he's sick, and he wanted to show how sickening it was by doing a video and put it on his IG page, and I put it on mine. So if you want to see what Winton captured on video before the curfew, and he did it before the curfew. So the curfew, he ain't out there tonight.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Go ahead, Went.
Yeah.
I just asked him not to go. I'm his father, man. I don't want you to. Because, bro, don't let him arrest you for disobeying curfew, because now we got another problem.
Right. And then, Tommy, your son is little. You have to explain this to him at such a young age. You have to
explain that, and then the fact that you play with a kid in the neighborhood who is not the same color as you, and then you're trying
they're friends.
They're friends, and I'm trying to. Do I give him a heads up, or I think the main thing is, here are these words I do not want people to call you. And when you hear this word, you come let me know about it. So we've started with that. So I'm not trying to put so much on an 8-year-old at one time.
Right. But you have to teach your son about racism.
Yes.
Yes. And then I would say, and Steve has raised sons, and you have an older son, Tommy, and Jay too, and then you have a younger son. You still have to have that other conversation. Black men have to have
with their sons,
with their sons,
and
with their boys, and daughters as well.
And it's a conversation that other people don't have to have.
They don't.
That's right.
How to dress.
Right.
Yeah.
What to do when the police pull over you.
Right. How to speak. Yeah.
Where you should have your ID in the car. How your hands should be on top of the wheel at 10 and 2 with all your fingers spread out like starfish. To have this conversation. But, like I was saying, I just thought when the videos came out and social media that would do it.
That would do it.
Once they see it, they'll know what we've been screaming about. Well, finally, this one is on video, and now they're screaming. There was no screaming for Trayvon.
No.
See, there was no white outrage for Trayvon.
Right.
And there was no video.
They've seen what we've seen. But when it goes to court, it's like they don't see it.
See,
so
but here's
isn't it? Go ahead.
Here's the part. When they say they're waiting on the grand jury to decide if they're going to be able to press charges or not, what I had to learn the hard way was the grand jury is just 12 registered voters.
Right.
They're not a group of specialized elected officials. No. They're 12 of supposedly our peers who are never our peers. So the justice system is just people. And people, when they get in those rooms behind closed doors, they are allowed to continue to think and perpetrate the racist thoughts that they truly have without intervention from us, because we ain't back there.
Right.
Yeah,
because we're not on the jury.
It's like we need to be in the room where it happens.
You arrested a CNN reporter for doing his
a
job
CNN
on
reporter.
the spot.
You made a decision there to arrest him.
Yeah.
And these guys are not arrested.
But see, I think too is the police department is unchecked. They have a department called IA, which is Internal Affairs, which all police officers are all police officers hate because they investigate them. But that's not enough, because what has to happen is police officers who take this sworn oath of duty have to police one another. Look, man, so you can't come over here. Them 3 men should have said, hey, man.
Enough.
Stop. We on his neck.
Come on.
Yes.
Come
See,
on, man.
but them 3 officers sat there and was complacent. Yes. So if you in the car when the murder happened, if you a regular citizen, you in the murder.
And that's what a lot of the protesters are saying.
why.
If it was one of us that done it, we
That's-
would be in jail immediately.
That's what has to happen.
And that's why they're so upset, because they haven't been arrested and they're waiting. When are they going to be arrested? How soon?
Nick Cannon said it best. We need to call the police on the police.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Wow. Coming up, we'll talk about more of racism in America right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Well, this country, we've been talking about it all morning, is in crisis. You can't go anywhere and not know that this is happening. No federal leadership. Protests are erupting all over the country. Coming up in about 20 minutes after the hour, we're going to talk to author Bakari Sellers. You know him as a politician, an attorney, frequent CNN correspondent, and analyst. So we'll talk to Bakari Sellers coming up. But right now, Steve, we were talking about just, everything that's going on, the protests going on in Washington, and not a word, not a peep, maybe a couple of racist tweets from the president, but nothing of any, substance.
I mean, look, this is not what he does. This is called leadership. He's never led people before. He's never been responsible for any lives outside of his family. I just don't believe that. So you are asking him to lead a nation and offer words of comfort when he's never comforting anyone. No. That's not his MO. That's not his business model. When he gets in financial trouble, he files bankruptcy so he can keep going without paying.
You know how
and
to do that.
That's what it is.
Looks for tax loopholes, all of that. But I mean, he can't call for calm, anything.
It's not in him to do that. No.
Right.
But this is when a president is supposed to be talking, right?
Yes, when your country,
your country is on fire.
Your country is full of disease, unemployment, and we have protesters and we are rioting over racism, and you are silent.
He's silent because they're trying to write something for him. The writers are in a room. What can we get him to say? And he's got to agree to it, because they know when they put him out there, man, he going to read to a certain point and then he going to fly off. And they're trying to coach him right now on how to be a leader. But it's a sad state that we're in, where we have to coach the leader of the biggest, richest nation in the world. Mm-hmm. And he's in a corner somewhere not knowing what to say because he has no experience at calming people down. Mm-hmm. Look, the man don't go to church.
You wanted the job.
Yeah.
I don't think he
has never been a servant of people.
That's right.
He has never led people.
Governed.
He has never governed or cared for people.
Well, what about that reality talk show? He fired people on there.
That was
fired people, and that's what he doing up there in the White House too. He fired everybody. Don't agree with him.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's right. He's still doing that show. Right.
You can't debate with nobody.
You think he's scared though right now, since they're so close
you
to the White House?
And you see a bunch of angry black and white people and police in front of your front yard. Hell yeah, he was scared.
He went to the bunker this weekend, didn't he?
I heard that. Yeah, I heard that.
Where you going, Trump? Where you going?
I mean, he can look out the window. He can see them.
Bring your ass outside where everybody else is. Come on outside.
You can hear it. You can hear it. Yeah.
You know they out there.
Hear it.
He doesn't know what to say, guys. He has no clue. No, it's not in his DNA. It's not in his makeup, and they are scurrying for him to make a statement. Because when he started talking about these National Guard, whoa, man,
and
listen
the
to me.
Dogs.
You need to stop this here. You just talking about. See, he doesn't know anything except how to be a bully or try to make a power move. So what I want everybody please be conscious of this while you're out here. He's looking for a way to flip this to his advantage. And if you keep looting, he gonna send in the National Guard like he's saving America. That's all he's waiting on. He's not offering 1 ounce of corrective measures to calm this down. Let's get the DOJ. See, if he had somebody other than Barr, he could send the DOJ down at the Department of Justice, get these officers arrested, get all these cases put forward, get some convictions rolling, get some jail times going, and calm this thing down. Pass some legislative law. He got that ink pen. He can do what he want to do.
Well, he said he's doing that. He said that he has Attorney General Barr looking into that. That's what he said.
Well, how
Looking
long?
We
into
know
what?
he doesn't tell the truth.
I'm just telling you what he said. That's
Yeah.
what he said.
I'm
We
looking at
going
y'all
on what a
Zoom.
president says and what he does.
Right.
Because he's not doing anything.
What he does, and he doesn't do anything, but he says a lot.
Yes,
and
he
usually
does.
that's not true.
Can't believe nothing comes out of his mouth. I mean,
Nothing,
Nothing.
And he ain't
shame.
said nothing, so.
No.
And that's a shame. He,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like old
Yeah.
people say he'll lie when he don't have to. He'll just
yeah.
lie.
When the truth will do, like
When
Steve
the
used to
truth
say all
will
that
do.
all the time. Yeah.
You know,
The truth ain't in him.
The truth will set you free. How about that one?
So just
Okay,
no
yeah.
federal leadership, and he's just so busy attacking the Democratic leaders from the state of Minnesota and the mayor of
Yeah, the
Minneapolis.
mayors.
Yeah, instead of you saying
Calling
and
them
tweeting positive messages, all you do is attack each
Right, because
state.
you know what, Carla, he's
That's all he
trying to
knows.
put blame anywhere but him.
Yes.
The mayor
Jacob
immediately had the police officers fired from the police
Mm-hmm.
department.
Yes, he wanted action
mayor
immediately.
Yeah.
Used to be a civil rights attorney.
Right.
Fry. Yeah,
Right.
Jacob Fry.
You know, Trump explained all of that. That guy's good.
Yeah, he is.
He's good. You've never seen action that exact and
Swift.
swift against any officers before. I haven't.
And speaking of mayors, Steve, can we say something about Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms? I mean, she
Is a leader.
is a leader. Really. I'm considering, I know it hasn't been brought up yet, but it was like, why not Keisha Lance Bottoms for VP?
Yes.
Throw her hat in the, throw her name in the hat.
Yeah, you have to get, I think, what they're looking for, and to be honest with you, I think she would be a great candidate eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I think she has to get into the Senate, Congress, some type of a little bit higher up legislative.
You mean
And
more
then I think
political
She have a name
experience? More
recognition
political
that
experience.
Yeah,
somebody else-
because that's what they're gonna make it about. That's what they're gonna make it about with any woman who runs, or any person of color. They
Over
just
10,000.
Trump got in,
Yeah, because
as a
Trump is
reality
in
star.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
but everybody
the
else,
president.
they gonna make sure that you have some type of something. And I mean, this guy became the president with no experience in
No
government.
Tough
compassion.
talking, just that tough talking.
No compassion. None.
He ain't blamed all this on Obama yet. 'Cause he
Oh,
gonna
he's
do
blaming
that
Obama
too.
all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Coming.
All this.
Might get that today.
Everything, yeah. And if Obama had done any of this that he's not doing, Trump is not doing. All right, seriously, we're going to be talking about this all day. We have Bakari Sellers coming up to talk more about it, and we'll be back with more of the Steve Harvey Morning Show right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Coming up in 20 minutes, politician, political commentator, lawyer, and author Bakari Sellers will be our special guest. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah,
But
get
first-
down to it. Yeah.
Yeah, but before we get to Bakari Sellers, NBA star Steven Jackson, who was a friend of George Floyd, they even look like twins, has been in Minneapolis fighting for justice for his brother and friend. However, he has a message for everyone protesting against police brutality to stay woke. Take a listen to this.
Hey, man, I just wanted to touch in right now to tell y'all, man, the support has been crazy, man, from my brother all around the world. everybody's been standing for my brother, man, and I definitely appreciate it. And I love y'all. I really appreciate it, man. We definitely gonna get justice for my brother, and it's definitely because of all the love y'all been showing him. It means the world. But let's not lose what we've done. They trying to play off our pain. So I want y'all to be smart out there, okay? They trying to play off our pain. They sending people out to burn buildings down and putting bricks in the middle of downtown, loose bricks, just for people to throw. Be smart. Keep fighting the good fight, because we love y'all and we appreciate y'all, and we wouldn't be making this noise without y'all, all right? But don't fall for the trick bag. Let's not hustle backwards. Keep this going.
Yeah.
Love that.
Let's not
Where these
hustle
loose bricks
backwards.
just show up from?
No, really, man. Somebody just took a load of loose bricks and put them out there for people to throw.
Yeah, for people
you
to
gotta,
throw.
hey, listen, man. This has been going on since the '60s. The government, the police department, has hired agitators. This is proven. Agitators to blend in with them and incite the riot even more, so that they can turn around and flip the narrative. And they've done it for years. And look, it's just all types of organizations who could do that. I'm not putting it all on the police or the FBI or something like that. So let me fix this. There are organizations who plant people within the protesters to incite them to do more. And once they get it over more, then you can bring in the police, the tear gas, the rubber bullets,
The guns,
and then next thing you know, here come National Guard. And now all your causes is washed behind the mask of looting and violence.
Yeah, so terrorist-type
Right.
organizations,
Yeah,
and they have different agendas, so to speak.
So let me ask you about these rubber
That rubber bullet ain't no
bullets.
joke,
yeah,
man.
the rubber bullets. So
It don't feel like rubber. That's for damn sure.
You almost
Not
did.
at all.
You did.
No.
It can put you down, Shirley.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They
Well,
burn-
see,
what do you mean?
they focus. CNN was focusing really hard on this white girl that had been hit by this rubber bullet. You know, and that's her badge and her moment. You know, look, man, know this. They want to escalate this thing and turn this thing into some other bullets. That's why you have to be smart. And like Steven Jackson said, we can't hustle backwards. Get out there and protest, but be smart. Don't hustle backwards. Don't allow them to change the narrative from the George Floyd, the Aubrey, the Trayvon Martins, the Eric
Breonna
Gardner.
Taylor.
Don't let them change the deaths and the injustices and flip it over to violence and looting. Criminals in the street. That's all they want to say, so that they can wash away what the cause is. That's why you can't hustle backwards. We got to be smart, y'all. You got to be smart. Get your hands up and protest. Don't throw canisters back at the police. You can't beat hate with more hate. You ain't gonna be able to do it.
All right, Steve. We got to get to today's headlines. Yeah, a lot going on today.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Miss Ann Tripp.
Thank you very much, everybody, and good morning. Well, murder victim George Floyd's body is being flown back to Houston, where he grew up, although no funeral plans have been announced yet by the family. George Floyd was a star tight end on his high school's football team. He played in its 1992 state championship game at the Houston Astrodome. Also turns out that the now ex-cop charged with taking his life, Derek Chauvin, most likely knew him because both worked security at the same club. The former owner, Maya Santa Maria, told a local TV station that Mr. Floyd worked inside as a bouncer and that as an off-duty cop, Chauvin worked outside. She also says that Chauvin had a pretty short fuse. She told a local TV station this, often pulling out mace and pepper spray unnecessarily, in her opinion. Meanwhile, it looks like the Minnesota governor, Tim Walz, may have just discovered that there are two Minnesotas.
We don't just rank near the top on educational attainment. We rank near the top on personal incomes, on home ownership, on life expectancies, things that make this. Oh, and one that came out a while back, we ranked second in a survey of the 50 states, second in happiness, behind Hawaii. But if you take a deeper look and peel it back, which this week has peeled back, all of those statistics are true if you're white. If you're not, we rank near the bottom.
Nevertheless, Minnesota's governor has called in thousands of National Guardsmen to try and control the violence over the weekend. Nationwide, there were protest curfews in Atlanta, Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Seattle. The Guard's been activated in 15 states. The Associated Press says some 4,400 arrests have been made in total. However, thousands more demonstrated peacefully in places like Phoenix and Albuquerque. Protesters set fire outside the White House. The now ex-Minnesota cop, by the way, Derek Chauvin, has a court appearance a week from today, and we'll know about that. WBLSH, well, we have back to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Hey, everybody, as promised, my special guest is a noted politician. He's an attorney, a political correspondent for CNN. He's been on the front lines of covering the widespread protests and riots, and so we invited him to join us so he could shed light. He's an incredible orator when it comes to speaking about how we feel and what we think and really what's going on. So please welcome to the show our buddy, Mr. Bakari Sellers.
Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
Hey, man,
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, man, listen, first of all, I want to do something because I want to congratulate you on your brand new book. He's got a new book out, everybody. It's called My Vanishing Country, a memoir. And I don't know if you could have written this at a better time because it speaks on a black man's journey through the South, past, present, and future. Tell us about the book, Bakari.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And when you write a book, you never expect or want your book to come out during a pandemic, to say the least. But in this book, I outline the pain and trauma of what it means to be black in this country. I was born into a family out of struggle. My father was shot February 8, 1968 by law enforcement in what's known as the Orangeburg Massacre, and 3 other young men were killed, Henry Smith, Samuel Hammond, and Delano Middleton, on the campus of South Carolina State University in HBCU. And I chronicle that all the way through the pain and trauma that most people don't even imagine. A father going to prison, getting out of prison and having a felony. My mom gave birth to my big sister while my father was actually still incarcerated. So all of that trauma bookend with the fact that I lost my good friend in 2015, Clemente Pinckney, who was the pastor of Mother Emanuel AME Church, when Dylan Roof walked in and shot him in the neck while they were praying after Bible study and killed 8 others in what's called the Charleston Massacre. And so I just talk about this pain and this trauma. And although my trauma may not be your trauma, I try to talk about the perseverance and hope that's required and necessary to be a person of color, to be black in this country, and systemic racism and systemic injustice that we see playing out right before our eyes today.
Yeah, I think too, man, when your book comes out at a time like this, I think it's kind of specially placed because this is a good time for it. I mean, it's a lot of people still at home. I know I'm still practicing social distancing, and the TV business, Hollywood is closed, so that type of work for me is off. And so we all do our radio shows from our homes now because of technology. The book, everybody, is called My Vanishing Country. It's a memoir. We're talking, it's such a compelling time for this book to come out and what Bakari is telling us about. So I want everybody in the Steve Harvey Nation, let's go out and get a copy of this book, man. You can download it too. But it's called My Vanishing Country, a memoir. When we come back, we're going to talk with Bakari about what's going on today in this country and what his views on all of it. So we'll be right back with our special guest, Bakari Sellers.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
All right, everybody, we're back. Our special guest this morning is Bakari Sellers. Now, I want to tell you all something. He's got a book out. Listen to me. It's called My Vanishing Country. It's a memoir. And he was telling us before the break, it's about a black man's journey through the South, past and present. And it's sort of really telling because a lot of it is very fitting of what's been happening. You talked about his father was murdered in 68 and the other people and the friends he's lost along the way. And I think, I don't know a black man in this country that don't have that story because, man, I've lost so many friends and relatives and along the way. And now we're here in these deaths. So we got Bakari Sellers. Now, Bakari, with everything that's going on, man, what's your take on this? How are you seeing this play out?
Yeah, my father is still with us. He just got shot in '68. So I
had sent him on. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
My bad, dog.
He still lets me borrow $200 every other week. So I'm good. But you brought up a good point, and racism is killing black people in this country in two ways. Systemic racism is killing black folk in this country in two ways. First, through COVID-19, and people want to say, why are black people dying at higher rates than their white counterparts? And the reason being is because we have these systemic injustices. Take the story that I tell in My Vanishing Country about where I'm from in Denmark, South Carolina. I grew up in a food desert, which means that you can't go 2 to 3 miles to get access to clean fruits or healthy fruits and vegetables. You're drinking dirty water, so you're more inclined to intake pollutants and things that are not good for your system. You're inhaling bad air because you're living next to a brownfield or a manufacturing plant. Your hospital's closed because you don't expand Medicaid, so you don't have access to quality care. And you take all of these systems and then you overlay it with the pandemic. You understand why, and you know this saying, my father says it all the time, when America gets a cold, black folk get the flu. Well, now America has COVID and black folk are dying. And so you look at those disparities and those injustices, and then you look at Ahmaud Arbery, who got killed in a good old-fashioned South Georgia father-son lynching. You look at Breonna Taylor. They served a no-knock warrant, and they killed her. They shot her. They shot at her over 20 times. And then you have George Floyd, who died with a knee to the neck for over 9 minutes. And all of this has to do with one simple fact, Steve, that since Emmett Till, Medgar Evers, Jimmy Lee Jackson, beyond them, we have never received the benefit of our humanity in this country. You cannot tell me that those officers, they looked at George Floyd as anything but being less than human.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of saying that they killed him like a dog, and somebody corrected me because they said if he was a dog, all 4 of those officers would have already been arrested already.
That's right.
Hey, Steve, could I ask Bakari a question? Could I ask him a question? Hey, Bakari, this is J. Anthony Brown. I'm from Columbia, South Carolina, and I went to school in Denmark.
Denmark Tech.
Trade school. Yeah, I went to Denmark Tech. So my question to you is, how much has Denmark changed from when you left? I know it's probably changed a lot since when I left. It was a long time ago. How much has it changed since you left?
Well, I'm still really close. I'm just in Columbia. But I'll tell you this, the city that once was a bastion for economic mobility, you used to know my grandfather, Cleveland Sellers. He had the motel down there and the fish joint downtown and drove a cab. And, my family's been in Denmark for 75 years. And, what once used to have most of the Black South, you had small businesses. You had 1 or 2 plants where people had those $15, $20 an hour jobs. All of those things are gone. And so what I knew to be my home, to be where people could black folk could have a middle-class lifestyle, that's literally vanishing before our eyes, let alone the ideals that this country promised us. And so now is the time for real solutions. You want people to get out the streets. Don't tell us to just go vote. Give us real solutions. We're tired of doing the same thing over and over again and still getting killed and becoming hashtags.
Now, I want to tell you all something. He's got a book out. It's called My Vanishing Country. It's a memoir. So we'll be right back with our special guest, Bakari Sellers.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
All right, everybody. We're back. Our special guest this morning is Bakari Sellers. He's got a book out. It's called My Vanishing Country. It's a memoir. It's about a black man's journey through the South, past and present. Listen to me. Here was the thing that I thought. I thought when social media came out, and I thought that once they saw what we knew was already happening, once they could see the video of Rodney King, of Eric Gardner, if they could see it, then they would get it, and that would solve it. I can't tell you how wrong I was.
Because here's a video with proof.
I'm only 35 years old, right? And, I talk about the trauma I've lived through, so I can only imagine with more years in this world what that means. I look at my father, who's 75. I'm 35, and we have many of the same shared experiences. And I bring that up to you because we had the picture in Ebony magazine of Emmett Till. Emmett Till was brutally beaten and lynched and thrown in the bottom of the Mississippi River. and his face was beaten, and he had no bones left in it. And his mother had the courage to allow the world to see what racism and bigotry had done to her son.
Mm-hmm.
They saw that, and they didn't care. They saw what happened on the Edmund Pettus Bridge on Bloody Sunday,
Right.
and nobody cared. And so right now I am telling people this, that if you are asking for peace without asking for justice, you just need to be quiet. Right now is a time not just for peace, but it's a time for justice to become a verb, and people are ready to see action.
Right. And I tell you what's making this appear to be different from me. And because I started speaking out about it a couple of weeks ago, until whites become outraged,
mm-hmm.
It won't change. And so this is what, like on CNN last night, New York, they're protesting in New York, and I'm talking about, you're talking the epicenter of this COVID-19. And to see that many New Yorkers come out, they're mostly young people, and 99% of them have on masks, but they're out in the streets protesting. To see them in Atlanta protesting, to see them in Kansas City protesting. I mean, I'm looking at whites, and it's starting to give me a little sense of hope here. Because now it's not just black people that you have to arrest. You're gonna have to arrest some other people, and the New York Police Department moved out in large forces last night, man, to try to clear it. And these all of these when they're having curfews and everything. But look, man, I'm like you. I get it. And for reporters on there talking about what the looting makes no sense. I got it, don't. But let me explain something to you. If, as Martin Luther King said, that rioting is the language of the unheard. If you're not listening, and I could take this brick and throw it through this window. Can you hear me now? Now, for the looting, I don't agree with it because that's taking the process too far, and I want us to be very careful because they are looking for a way to, as I told one of the callers today, they're looking for a way to change the narrative. And especially with this president we have. So we've got to be careful because he got his finger on the National Guard button because he wants to appear like he's doing something as the president. And instead of making sure that justice is served, he got his button on to send in the armed National Army right now. And so we got to be careful.
True indeed. And one of the things that I'll say, just to piggyback on what you're talking about, people are looking for someone to channel that energy and where to channel that energy. And so when I'm talking about making justice a verb, I'm talking about doing things like lowering the federal standard to bring civil rights cases against these bad officers, criminal cases against these bad officers.
Right.
I'm talking about making sure that we limit qualified immunity so they can't hide behind their shield when we sue them. And think about this. Think about this, Steve. George Floyd paid for the law enforcement police department that killed him because the Department of Justice, our federal tax dollars, goes to these police departments, and they don't have to have any accountability. They don't have to have any transparency. They don't have to have any oversight. And so if we're going to pay for these police departments, they have to have those things because George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, they literally paid for monies to go to the police departments that killed them without any oversight.
Yeah.
So these are some of the tangible things that I want people to offer. I'm tired of Democrats and Republicans telling me to just go home and vote. Wait till November. No, I want something now because in November, at the rate we're going, that's at least 10 more black folk they done kill.
Oh,
wow. Man.
Yeah, he's keeping it all the way.
100.
Yes. All the way.
That's the interview and scene.
Drop the mic, right?
Hey, listen, man, I got to tell you, listen, everybody, his book out is called My Vanishing Country. And what a great title. And you just didn't know it was going to drop at this particular time, but it is, man, My Vanishing Country. I mean, you would think that we will be saying away with this and we're getting better and better, but it seems like it's taken a turn for the worse. And I think the book is a great read. It's called My Vanishing Country. It's a memoir. My Vanishing Country, a memoir. And I think it'll be great reading. It's something we can all pick up on. And Bakari, thank you for always being out front, brother, speaking on our behalf so eloquently. Thank you, brother.
And as a young brother, you didn't have to give me this platform and lift my book up. I think it's timely. I'm just really grateful for you always being there for us and giving us an opportunity. So thank you, man.
Hey, man, I'm with you. Thank you. Bakari Sellers, everybody. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Yes, sir.
Twins.
You know, what Bakari is saying is pretty much spot on. You know, he's such a great speaker when it comes to speaking about the concerns of us. And, you know, this is just a trying time for all of us. I was thinking the other day, here's the deal. I was just going over some stuff that just black people have had to deal with. All this began with slavery.
Yes.
Right. I mean,
yes,
slavery lasted for 400 years. Okay. Then we had the recession. We was in that with everybody too, you know. Then recession, then we had to deal with segregation. Segregation, we dealt with all of that. Then we dealt with what they called integration, but nobody wanted to integrate, so we dealt with that. Then we dealt with the civil rights movement. Then we dealt with nobody could ride on the front of the bus, that you had to go to the back of the restaurant. Then we had sit-ins. We had lunch counter sit-ins. Then we had Bull Connor down in Alabama and Georgia, George Wallace. We went through all of that. Then we went through the March on Washington, and we did all of that. And then we watched them kill Martin Luther King, when I lost all hope at that point, because I said, wow, here's a man who was just making us try to hold each other's hands. They don't want to hold our hands, so they killed a man?
Nonviolence, yeah.
So I lost all of that. We had to go through that. Then we went through affirmative action. And then the next thing you know,
Woo, we've been through. I'm tired.
we were dealing with
Sick and tired of being sick and tired.
trying to get through all of that. And then let's
hear
just speed forward. And here we come. Now the whole world is dealing with COVID-19.
Yeah.
But then the whole time before the COVID-19, we was just dealing with the Eric Gardners and the Trayvon Martins. And I got a whole list of names.
That's a long list.
And then Aubrey had just happened in February, but we got the tape later. And then right after that, this man, George Floyd. All of this is in the middle of the pandemic.
Gets me is why they don't get it. That's the weird part. They don't get it.
I think they get it. They just don't care.
All the stuff we've been through, they just don't get it. What?
They don't
why you
care,
guys so
Jay.
angry? Why are you so mad? What?
Yeah.
And did you know that this police officer that was kneeling on this man, they said a couple days ago, they actually had worked together in an establishment.
Yeah, yeah.
And security.
The owner of the club was on TV, and she was saying that they worked
knew
together.
each other.
Yeah, they knew each other.
He knew this guy.
Because they worked at the same club. Man. All right. We're going to take a break here. We need a break. Everybody needs a break. We'll be right back with more of the Steve Harvey Morning Show right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Time now for today's Strawberry Letter. And listen, if you need advice on relationships, dating, work, sex, parenting, and more, please submit your Strawberry Letter to Steve Harvey FM and click Submit Strawberry Letter. We could be reading your letter live on the air, just like we're going to read this one. Hear that, Jay?
Papa Shirley.
Right here, right now. Yeah.
Buckle up. Hold on tight. We got it for you. Here it is. It's a Strawberry Letter.
Subject, the two women that I love the most. Dear Steve and Shirley, I'm a 37-year-old man and I'm in love with the perfect woman and I want to marry her. I am financially secure and I love taking care of my family. I bought a new home 5 years ago and I made sure I had a separate space for my mother to live comfortably. She has her own entrance from the garage, so she's still independent. She does most of the cooking, and I am happy to have her with me. My mother and my girlfriend get along well, and if my mom is cooking, my girlfriend will help her out in the kitchen. My girlfriend always jokes about it being my mom's kitchen, and I told her that once we're married, it will be her kitchen, and my mom will understand. Well, my girlfriend threw me for a loop and said that if we got married, she wouldn't have to worry about fighting over a kitchen because my mom wouldn't be living with us.
Uh-oh.
This may be the first time my girlfriend and I had a terrible argument. I'm not a mama's boy, but I feel a sense of pride in making sure my mom is well taken care of. My girlfriend flat out said that she will not live with my mama in her house. She told me that I might as well not propose if I don't plan to move into a new home with her or move my mother to another house. It's not a financial thing because my girlfriend makes great money and she's independent. She told me she'd rather stay single than move in with me and my mama. I am not sure why I didn't ask this earlier in our relationship because it's a deal breaker for both of us. I can't win in this situation. How do I please the love of my life and the woman that gave me life?
Your mama, dog?
Okay, all right, listen, I know you love your mom. You know what? We all love our mothers. We really do. But the question is, do we want to live with our spouses and our moms all in the same house? That's the question. And I got to tell you, the answer to that is no. And your girlfriend is right in this one. She wants a home of her own, and why shouldn't she? Because you know what? She's never going to feel like it's her house. She's never going to feel that she's the woman of the house as long as your mom is in the house, in that kitchen, cooking, okay? And then she's in there helping. She's never going to feel that way, never. I'm sorry, but that's the situation. Even the Lord knows that, okay? Even the Lord knows that, and you know the Lord knows everything. The Bible says that a man should leave his father and his mother and cleave to his wife, and they become one flesh, okay? Leave and cleave. I'm sure you've heard that. You know, you can look it up if you want. It's in Genesis. So you can look it up if you want. I think 2:24 or something. So you mentioned a couple of times about you're financially set. You and your girlfriend, you're in a good place. You're in a good financial space. So like you said, and like your girlfriend mentioned to you, if you can, why don't you let your mom have this house? You and your girlfriend, you know, can buy another house. Set your mom up in a condo close by or something if you want to be, you know, close to your mom if you love her that much. And that's okay. That's okay. But two women in the same house trying to cook in the same kitchen once you're married, it's not going to work. And she's absolutely right. I know you say you're not a mama's boy, but you're going to have to put your wife first. If she decides to go ahead and marry you now after all this, she may change her mind. She's already told you, don't even worry about proposing. She'd rather stay single if you're going to bring your mom along. So you got a lot to think about there. If you want the woman, you can't let your mom stay there and live there in the house with you. Steve?
Man, ain't nobody got no time for this damn letter. The hell wrong with you, man? What the hell is wrong with you? Are you nuts? Dog, when you type the letter, you ain't read it back. You don't see nothing wrong in here? Because it's wrong. I love taking care of my family. I'm financially secure. Once you say you financially secure, then money answereth all things. You can supply an answer. Money don't make you happy. Money ain't the answer to everything, but it gives you at least a response. So you say you're financially secure. So now you can respond to a situation, and now you have it. I bought a new home 5 years ago, and I made sure that I had a separate space for my mother to live comfortably. She got her own entrance from the garage. What? The hell do that mean, man? No, help me. No.
Say that again. Wait.
I like that.
Say that again.
Yeah.
Help me. I done had a few cribs. What in your house did you give your mama a separate space she can get to from the garage, but ain't but one damn kitchen?
Right, exactly, Steve.
She ain't got her own space. She all over in there where your girlfriend at. That's what this whole damn letter, so she could be comfortable. She got her own interest from the garage, so she's still independent. And you still codependent. She does most of the cooking, and I'm happy to have her with me. Well, dog, when this gonna end? When do you think you ain't gonna have your mama with you, cooking for you, cleaning for you? What? Why don't she feed you? I'm so mad at this letter. My mother and girlfriend get along well. If my mom is cooking, my girlfriend, I'm on the line how many times you call it, will help her out in the kitchen. I'll be right back. I got it for you, though.
All right, we'll have part 2 of Steve's response coming up at 23 minutes after the hour. Today's Strawberry Letter subject, the 2 women that I love the most. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
All right, Steve, come on. Let's recap today's Strawberry Letter, the 2 women that I love the most.
37-year-old man and done this stupid ass thing. He bought this house. He financially secure, right? He bought this house 5 years ago and made sure he had a separate space for his mother to live comfortably. She has her own interests from the garage, so she's still independent, and she does most of the cooking, and I'm happy to have her with me. Well, the problem is you went out and got somebody you sleep with. See, that's what you did. You went and got a girlfriend. My mother and girlfriend get along really well, and if my mom is cooking, my girlfriend will help out in the kitchen. Oh, I bet you just be happy then.
Just in there, just happy, Steve.
No, just happy as hell. But I'm going to show you something. This is when you first started calling her your girlfriend. My mom is cooking. My girlfriend will help her out in the kitchen. My girlfriend always jokes about it being my mom's kitchen. And I told her that once we're married, it'll be her kitchen, and my mom will understand. Well, my girlfriend threw me for a loop and said that if we got married, see right here. See, I want you to understand. Now the letter change, partner. Girlfriend. Well, I told her it'll be her kitchen, and once we get married, it'll be her kitchen, and my mom will understand. Your mom finna understand what? She been cooking. She been cooking for you for 37 years. You think she just gonna step aside and let this little girl come in here and start cooking?
Right.
She don't know what she doing.
Right.
She don't know how to make nothing. That ain't how I make my dressing.
Exactly.
You call these rolls? Sweetie, he don't like his eggs turned over that many times. See, anybody finna go through that? Well, when we get married, it'll be her kitchen and my mom understand. Here we go. Well, my girlfriend threw me for a loop and said that if we got married, here we go, letter changing, y'all, she wouldn't have to worry about fighting over a kitchen because your mom won't be living with us.
Right.
Now, this is where he tried to jump back to. This may be the first time my girlfriend and I had a terrible argument. I'm not a mama's boy. Oh, yes, she is. Now, here we go. Now we talking about what the letter is about. Now you saying I'm not a mama's boy. But everything in this letter says mama's boy.
All over it.
It just says it, dog. I'm sorry. I hate to tell you that. And I bet your girlfriend probably brought it up. She been dealing with it because she just your girlfriend. But once she take on the title of wife, she ain't finna split the kitchen with your mama. Because, Sam, I'm going to tell you something, man, you probably don't even know. Right. She been helping your mama out in that kitchen, but she don't like everything your mama cook. How about it? Probably won't tell you that. Just won't let you in on a little something. And she can't wait to get in there so she can have what she want to have for dinner and ask her husband what he want and fix the dinner for their family. And maybe you come in there and make something for your wife sometime. This ain't your mama kitchen. Now, you mad now. And then your girlfriend flat out said she will not live with my mama in her house. See this house you bought 5 years ago? When you sign that document, that marriage license, that ain't just your house no more.
Ooh, preach it.
That's y'all's house. And I got more news for you. Whatever you think is y'all's house, when you go to court, it's called her house.
Tell him, Steve.
I have lost 5 of them.
Tell him.
My stupid ass thinking I had some houses.
Steve, talk to the
Court
man.
came right along and said, yo, black ass ain't got no house.
Let him
That's
know, Steve.
her house.
Please let him know.
I'm letting them know. Now, damn fool, she told me I might as well not propose if I don't plan to move into a new home with her or move my mother into another house. Period. That makes sense. Let me ask you something, dog. You 37. You watch TV all the time. You Netflix boy. When they're in the castle, have you ever seen more than one queen?
Nope.
No.
Now, the king I have some slaves that he doing downstairs in the dungeon.
Oh, God.
And in the spa area. He gonna have some extra chicks. But it's only one queen.
They got a spa area?
Yeah, in the Roman Empire. All this
Palace.
TV.
It's a
Netflix.
palace.
You saw Game of Thrones.
Netflix.
Go with it.
Yeah. Your wife doesn't have to share the kitchen with your mother because your wife wants her own kitchen. She's not marrying you for your mother. She was marrying you for you. And you should marry her for her. You can't have your mama in your house. Ain't nothing wrong with your mama. She driving to the garage. She got a car. Drive somewhere else. You done made all these separate ass interests. Get her a whole separate house. You financially secure. Your girlfriend got money. Get her a nice little easy living space. Get around some old ass people. She'll get a lot of friends because most old people don't have cars. Your mama want an old people with a car.
Crazy.
I'm not sure if I didn't ask this early in our relationship because this is a deal breaker for both of us. Well, brother, deal broke then.
Yeah.
Now, guess what you gonna have? What you always had, your mama.
And that house.
You ain't finna have the woman of your dreams.
The one you
And I don't
love.
blame her. Ain't nobody moving in with you and your damn mama, dog. Ain't nobody finna do that.
Thank you. Coming up, post your comments on today's Strawberry Letter at Steve Harvey FM on Instagram and Facebook. Coming up at
My
46
family
minutes.
make the best chili. Buddy, want your damn family chili.
Don't forget to listen to the Strawberry Letter podcast on demand. Coming up at 46 minutes after the hour, we're going to switch gears and talk to the people at 877-29-STEVE.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
All right, y'all, we going to the phones again. And this is a long-time family member. We've known this man from probably all the years of the Hoodie Awards and Neighborhoods Awards. I guess that's what it's from. He's just been around us so long. He's a business owner in, is it Philly?
Yeah.
He's a business owner in Philly. Let's get him on the phone. We just call him Frank the Barber, so I mean, we don't know nothing else. Frank, what's up, man?
Hello, how y'all doing? How's everybody?
Good.
What's up, Frank?
Hey, Frank, now you're a barber in Philadelphia?
Yes, I am.
How long you been in business, man?
Me and my wife just opened our business in September, so this pandemic has hit us hard because we had to close, and we've been closed for about 78 days.
Wow. So talk us a little bit through about what's been happening in terms of the business up there for you guys.
We are non-essential, so we did have to close. We are person-to-person contact, so we cannot take any clients. We cannot have anybody come in the shop, so we had to close down. We have to just live by any means necessary. My wife, she is able to work from home, and we have to reach out for financial aid from the state, from the city, to keep going.
Wow.
This is Carla. We talked and you were telling me
Hey,
about, we
Carla.
saw, good, how are you? How you saw everything on the rioting and everything that was happening in Philly. Can you tell us about that?
The rioting is a aftermath of the peaceful protest that started on Saturday. Saturday midday was peaceful protest, and everything was, for George Floyd. And it escalated to the violence and the looting that is occurring right now.
Yeah, it seems like, for the people who don't understand the rioting, which it's not a good thing, but you have to put it into perspective and understand. As Martin Luther King once said, rioting is the language of the unheard. And when people are trying to get your attention and you're not listening to them, and they're trying to obey your laws and you're not listening to them, this can be the end result. Do you hear me now?
There we go. Yeah, and also the frustration of the COVID-19 and a lot of people losing their jobs, a lot of people not having an income, a lot of people not receiving unemployment and the loans and all the grants and everything that was promised to us as minorities. So we had a voice with elections, and we have to get out and vote.
Thank you, Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
All right, Frank. Thank you, man. Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
God bless you. All right, we'll have more of the Steve Harvey Morning Show right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
All right, hey, let's go to the phone. I have a young business owner, really young business owner. We'll find out if she wants to say how old she is and what type of business she has. And we're talking to her. This is Steve Harvey.
Hey, how are you?
What's your name, sister?
Nikki Hightower, and my business partner is Shanice Gaither.
Oh, Nikki Hightower.
Mm-hmm.
I used that name on TV for years. I was Steve Tower. I owned a video store, and Steve Hightower, I was the High Tops. And so now,
yes,
this is my niece.
I remember that.
This is my niece, Nikki. Nikki, what city do you live in?
We live in Atlanta, Georgia.
What type of business do you own?
We own a luxury consignment shop at the Shops at Buckhead.
First of all, let's talk about the COVID-19 aspect. I'm assuming that touched and affected your business?
Yes, we shut down on March 11th, and we just reopened 3 Fridays ago.
How has business been since you reopened?
Since we reopened, business has been steady. I can't say business was kind of steady online, but when we reopened, people were so happy just to come in the store, even though we had restrictions and, we couldn't have too many people in the store. People were just happy to be out, so they were continuing supporting us.
Now, what about now during these times? Because I know Atlanta, like many cities across the country, the protest is fine, but some of it has turned into some looting. Have you all been affected by that at all?
Yes, we were affected Friday night. We were receiving phone calls from friends. They were like, your store is being broken into. And I live right in the area, so me and my business partner, we ran downstairs, and we literally witnessed the guys running out with the shoes and handbags. And when we finally walked up to the store, everything was gone, literally down to our computer, our iPad, our cell phone, everything. It was just heartbreaking to see that, being that we just got over a situation like this back in November 2018 in Miami Circle, which made us move to Shops at Buckhead thinking we would be a little bit more protected and safe.
Oh, you were in a, okay, hold on. Explain to me what you were saying. You were in another city or another area?
No, Miami Circle, on Lindbergh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were in that area, and we were hit for $76,000 back in November 2018. And we just recovered from that, and we're finally flowing and getting back on our feet to just get hit again. And now we were literally left with 4 pair of shoes and 1 handbag.
Wow.
And it's so heartbreaking because I understand the pain and the frustration everyone is going through, but we're all together in this. I stand for everything that's going on. When I saw that video of George Floyd, Shanice and I were heartbroken. Just to see that our store had to take that hit, we get it. We know our store can be replaced, but it's just still painful for us as business owners that we have to rebuild again due to what the police are doing.
Let me say this. Protest is fair. Protest is okay. But when it gets into the level that it has gotten to in a lot of places, and business owners are affected by it who have nothing to do with the injustices of our judicial system, the injustices of the police relationships that are in a lot of these cities, some of the police officers' behavior towards us, these businesses have nothing to do with it. And so innocent people have to suffer for something that they're really not a part of. They're very much victims of all this themselves. And so that's why we're trying to say, look, protest, but protest peacefully. Even George Floyd's brother is saying to protest, but do it peacefully. Yes. As difficult as it is, we learn from moments like this, and we become stronger some kind of way. And so just keep it up. Never give up, okay?
Yes, we really needed your words of encouragement. Thank you so much.
All right,
Thank you.
We'll have more of the Steve Harvey Morning Show right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
All right, guys, just a quick entertainment news reminder. 4 artists across the country, from pop, hip-hop, and more, will take the stage, putting their spin on TLC's biggest hits and creating their own music video. You should watch as Low Cash, Ally Brooks, Sirianni, and Max perform unique covers of TLC's most iconic hits, like Waterfalls. That's your favorite, Steve. You love that song. No Scrubs, Creep, and Baby, Baby, Baby. Those are all, I love all those songs. Then,
strong, boy.
Yes. Catch a special collaboration of Unpretty. All right, so tune in to Iconic TLC, hosted by Jordan Sparks, tonight at 8/7 Central on the CW.
Tommy, that's your jam, ain't it? I'm Pretty.
What you say?
That's Tommy's jam right there.
I'm pretty. All right. What else is going on in the music news, Carla?
Well, you know what, guys? You wrong for that, Steve.
know
Tommy,
he
don't say
is,
nothing.
right?
Let it go.
I
Let it
ain't
go.
gonna say
but
nothing.
Not today. Today's not today. Let's give a shout out to Kirk Franklin and Fred Hammond.
Yes.
Baby.
Yes.
Yesterday.
Yes.
Girl.
Yes. Everything
they took us
played,
to church.
I love.
They took us to church. It was nice. They did the whole versus experience. I won't say it was a battle. You know, it was just gospel music.
Yeah.
It was a healing. And at the beginning of it, before it started, Bishop T.D. Jakes was there. He prayed. It was some church going on yesterday.
Yeah.
So
It was beautiful.
shout out to Kirk Franklin and Fred.
Kirk, come on.
All right, coming up, more of the Steve Harvey Morning Show and some trending news at 33 minutes after the hour, right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
NBA star Steven Jackson, who was a friend of George Floyd, they even look like twins, has been in Minneapolis fighting for justice for his brother and friend. However, he has a message for everyone protesting against police brutality to stay woke. Take a listen to this.
Hey, man, I just wanted to touch in right now to tell y'all, man, the support has been crazy, man, from my brother all around the world. Everybody's been standing for my brother, man, and I definitely appreciate it. And I love y'all. I really appreciate it, man. We definitely gonna get justice for my brother, and it's definitely because of all the love y'all been showing him. It means the world. But let's not lose what we've done. They trying to play off our pain. So I want y'all to be smart out there, okay? They trying to play off our pain. They sending people out to burn buildings down and putting bricks in the middle of downtown, loose bricks, just for people to throw. Be smart. Keep fighting the good fight, because we love y'all and we appreciate y'all, and we wouldn't be making this noise without y'all, all right? But don't fall for the trick bag. Let's not hustle backwards. Keep this going.
Yeah.
Love that.
Let's not
Man, where these
hustle
loose
back.
bricks just show up from?
No, really, man. Somebody just took a load of loose bricks and put them out there for people to throw.
Yeah, for people
you
to
gotta,
throw.
you got. Hey, listen, man. This has been going on since the '60s. The government, the police department, has hired agitators. This is proven. Agitators to blend in with them and incite the riot even more, so that they can turn around and flip the narrative. And they've done it for years. And look, it's just all types of organizations who could do that. I'm not putting it all on the police or the FBI or something like that. So let me fix this. There are organizations who plant people within the protesters to incite them to do more. And once they get it over more, then you can bring in the police, the tear gas, the rubber bullets,
The guns,
and then next thing you know, here come National Guard. And now all your causes is washed behind the mask of looting and violence.
Yeah, so terrorist type organizations, and they have different agendas, so to speak.
So let me ask you about these rubber
That rubber bullet ain't no joke,
yeah,
man.
the rubber bullets. So
It don't feel like rubber. That's for damn sure.
You almost
not at all.
You dead.
No.
Huh?
It can put you down, Shirley.
Oh yeah.
They
Well,
burn-
see,
what do you mean?
they focused. CNN was focusing really hard on this white girl that had been hit by this rubber bullet. You know, and that's her badge and her moment. You know, look, man, know this. They want to escalate this thing and turn this thing into some other bullets. That's why you have to be smart.
All right, coming up, it's the last break of the day.
Hey, Black Lives Matter. It is the last break of the day.
Yes, it does,
that was
baby.
a good one. That was a good one, Jay. And of course, Steve will have some closing remarks, and we'll talk about the Tracy Ellis Ross movie too.
Oh my God, it was good.
Yeah, coming up at 49 minutes after, right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
All right, guys, here we are, last break of the day. And boy, what a day. What a weekend, what a week. Yeah.
What a 5
What a
days,
year.
6 days.
Yeah, what a year. You're right,
What a
Tommy.
year.
Yeah.
That's
you're
not
right.
even over yet.
Shirley, you said what a week. It's Monday. You already know.
Yeah.
From last week.
Yeah,
huh?
I meant from last week.
No,
Yeah.
I know. I
Long
get it.
days, man.
It's going to be long again.
Yeah.
You're right.
Long one this
Yeah.
week.
But a change, hopefully, is going to come.
Like in the song?
Yeah, in the Sam Cooke song. That's right. Yeah.
I've never seen protesters like at the White House like that, though.
Nope.
I've never
Neither
seen
has
that.
Trump.
Yeah, he had to go into the bunker.
He's done a lot.
What you hiding for, Trump?
Yeah, you wanted to
What
know.
you hiding
You know,
for,
but
Trump?
he's going to
Yeah,
do what
come
he
on
normally
outside.
does. He's going to shift this blame. This is going to be anybody's fault but his.
Yeah.
He's already blaming it on the mayor of Minneapolis, but he doesn't understand. This is a national crisis.
Yeah.
The last atrocity just occurred in Minneapolis.
Right.
That's
It's
right,
a
Steve.
national atrocity.
This is on
The
your watch,
boycott
man.
is in L.A. It's in Houston. It's in Dallas. It's in Atlanta. It's in Miami.
Yeah.
It's in Virginia. It's in D.C. It's in New York. It's popping off in Philly. It's in Detroit. It's in Chicago. It's happening everywhere.
Yep.
So see.
We happen to have a leader that does not understand the role of leadership in times of crises, where you need someone at the upper level to have a plan, to have some sense of calmness to say to the people that he was elected to govern. Now, even though he lost the popular election by several million votes, and due to the old archaic slave-induced electoral college votes, so southern states could have the same amount of pool as northern states, and that needs to be abolished so we can just get to the masses and what the majority of people say, because there's no more South and North. The South ain't rising again. You've done all y'all gonna do. And so we are just supposed to be one nation under God. That's what it's supposed to be. We have a leader that we can expect nothing more of. He has never governed people before. He has never served people before. He has never inspired people before, nor has he ever led people before. To expect him to do that all of a sudden is crazy. Everybody's wondering where he is now. Well, they're trying to write a speech that'll sound like something he would say and hope then that he'll stick to the script. Other than that, he has nothing to say. You know good and well President Obama would have had something to say. I got news for you. Joe Biden has had something to say about it. All the mayors have had something to say about it. We've had everybody say something about it except the president in the highest office in the land. It's the only person. So where does that leave us? Well, I've been thinking about this thing. And even though I fully 100% support all the protests, I think protest is important. I think it is, man. I think it's the voice of the oppressed and the downtrodden. And when you're not listening, these protests can turn into riots. I don't support the riots. I don't want to see this happen because I know what they're going to do because I've watched them do it time and time again. So we've got to be smart. Stephen Jackson was on the show and said, don't hustle backwards. We cannot allow this government, because this is what he will do now. He's got his finger on the trigger, waiting to pull the trigger to send National Guards to all these cities so he can appear to be doing something to stop the looting and burning of our major cities. And we will lose George Floyd's death, the Aubrey death, the Trayvon Martins, the Eric Gardners, and the so-ons and so on, so on, so on. And the list is too long for me to list. But we will lose that if we allow them to take the burning and the looting and make it about that. Because listen, none of these black men gave their lives so we could loot or burn. That's not the sacrifice of their life, and we can't diminish their lives and lower it down to that level right there. Now, I got you angry, because I'm mad too. Man, I've been mad about this a lot longer than a lot of people. But we also got to be smart. We can't hustle backwards. We cannot let them change the narrative. Colin Kaepernick got on his knee when the national anthem was playing for this very reason right here. This was why he knelt. But did you see what they did? Since the owners came down and started locking arms with their players, all of a sudden the president, he saw a moment to seize it, and he turned it into the troops and the American flag. And all of a sudden, what Colin Kaepernick had kneeled for, they had changed the narrative. They've done it to us over and over and over, y'all. When Martin Luther King had us sitting at lunch counters and riding on the front of the bus when Rosa Parks, they've always tried to switch the narrative and turn it into something else. They took affirmative action and flipped that around to where it was against white folks. Affirmative action was not against white folks, but they turned it around. They took Black Lives Matters and they turned it into White Lives Matter too. That's their specialty. We cannot let them do that this time. Let's be smart. Y'all be careful. Protest, but keep your hands up in the air. Keep your signs showing, but be respectful of the law. Don't give them a pen to stick you with. Y'all be careful out there. Y'all be careful out there, man. Keep protesting, but be careful, young people. And don't let them flip the script. Those are my closing remarks.
Yo, 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 yo.
Great job, Unc.
For all Steve Harvey contests, no purchase necessary, void where prohibited. Participants must be legal U.S. residents at least 18 years old unless otherwise stated. For complete contest rules, visit SteveHarveyFM.com.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.